So first, I'd like you to share your thoughts on how it feels to be touring India. You just toured Shillong as of now. Today is Calcutta and then the other cities. So how do you feel to be touring India?
Surreal. It is a surreal feeling because it basically goes back to me waking up one morning saying, hey, I want to be back in India. What can I make happen to be back on tour in one of my favorite countries? And here we are, just a few weeks later. So it's a strange feeling, very welcome but still strange.
Okay. Tell us a little about the upcoming album. You have an upcoming album called Changeling.
That's true.
Changeling, right?
Changeling is the title. And this tour is kind of sort of also part of the release cycle because I'm testing new music on the road and I will be playing new music tonight.
Okay.
And yeah, that's all I can say at this point because there's no release date yet. I only know that it will be out as soon as possible. As soon as I have negotiated the label release, I will let everybody know. But I simply can't wait to share this music and also then through this tour test it on audiences.
Okay. So what is the concept behind Changeling? The concept of the album?
So first of all, it's interesting that you ask because it is a concept album and there's a loose narrative lyrically about the psychedelic experience and the malleability of the human experience and soul through the psychedelic experience. And so there is sort of a loose character in the lyrics who goes through a spiritual and emotional transformation under the influence of psychedelics.
Okay, so has it got anything to do with an individual you know in person or yourself?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
But yeah, it's. I should add that the lyrics have not been written by myself.
Okay.
Because I have been in close collaboration with one of my favorite musicians on earth, whose name is Florian Magnus Meyer, also known as Morian. He's the lyricist and vocalist for bands like Dark Fortress and Alkaloid, and he has, we developed the concept together, but he had a lot of freedom making the lyrics happen and adding his own experience. So I guess you could say that the lyrics are something, an experience and a way of seeing the world that we both can very much relate to, and both were very happy to collaborate on in this way.
Okay. So the album took 3 years to be conceptualized and executed as...
All in all.
Yeah. So why do you think it took 3 long years to make it what it is?
For many reasons. First of all, because it started as a collaborative effort with another songwriter, and then turned into a different direction. So navigating all of that took a long time. Then the production was the most expensive and expensive one that I have ever done in my career so far. And everything is recorded, mostly everything is recorded for real. There's no or hardly any samples or virtual instruments. So I went to location and recorded instruments like a real church organ in the church, or there's an actual choir on there made of different people, all sorts of different things, a flamenco percussion group, all sorts of things. They are all performed by human beings. And so getting all of that scheduled and financed and then recorded obviously takes a lot of time and planning and effort.
Okay, so how cooperative were these people, the instruments that you needed, the choirs and everything that you had to arrange? So are they cooperative with you when you were doing it?
Well, I'm always happy to give freedom of expression, even though it is my album and I'm the main composer behind it. So there's, I guess, I set the limits of how much they would be able to express themselves and communicate it as such, but there's always the personality of the performer in there. I don't see a point of recording something for real and going to all those lengths and making an actual recording in a room happen with people if you don't give them the opportunity to inject their own personality.
Okay, that's nice.
And that goes for everybody on the album.
Okay, so how many people have worked all together on this album?
I think all in all, 50 people or more.
50 people.
Yeah.
So how many tracks is this album gonna have?
It's 8 songs in total, and
Okay.
some of them are very long. We have a few shorter pieces that work in the 4 and 4.5 minute mark, but then as the album progresses, it gets more and more progressive and extensive, I guess you could say, with the final song being like almost 18-minute long.
Okay. So what's the genre of metal that you play?
I don't know, you tell me.
I don't know, you tell me.
So I'm very happy to play metal-inspired music, but I'm not a big fan of categorizations of that because I think it's limiting. And if we're talking heavy metal specifically, I think I've done pretty much all of the different subgenres in one capacity or another over the years.
Okay, so what's Changeling going to be?
Changeling specifically is based on the technical death metal that I've been playing with bands like Obscura, for example, in the past. So that's different from my first few solo albums in that there's like a stylistic core, and then I try to take that formula and mutate it into something else whenever I can.
Okay. So you'll be playing in Calcutta, and there are lots and lots of upcoming metal bands in India, from Calcutta, Bangalore, Bombay, everywhere. So would you like to share your words of wisdom to these, for these, budding musicians who are willing to, pursue a career in music, in metal, and keep it alive, and they organize gigs quite often in Calcutta. I don't know about the other cities, but they do a lot. And so any words of wisdom for them?
I don't know if I can share words of wisdom necessarily, but my experience has been that never lose your naivete in a way, because like if I wouldn't be naive and romantic to a large degree, I wouldn't be here from the pipe dream of waking up one day and saying, hey, I want to be back in India, what can I do to make this happen, and who do I know that could help me make this happen. So you need to be a bit operating, to be a bit outside of reality and the confines of what's considered possible or realistic. So never lose that would be advice number one. But then at the same time, try to very much work in reality, to not let your artistic experience be dictated from unhealthy emotional places of jealousy or what else could there be unhealthy? Like in the metal scene, for example, we have a lot of people who have like a very strong need to express themselves with like negative imagery and kind of be their own therapy session. And I think that the more you want to advance in the music industry and have longevity in working with different people, the more you need to sidestep all of that and operate from a place of reality with the people that you are working with and of acceptance, and not trying to bend reality to your narcissistic will, if that makes any sense.
That makes a lot of sense, because there's a lot of, it suddenly becomes very negative whenever people who don't listen to metal, they listen to it or they think of it. The first impression is negative. So what you're saying makes a lot of sense. Alright, so could you share with me like who inspired you to do music, and how long have you been doing music? Like how old were you when you wanted to explore this?
What was the last part?
Like who inspired you
After that,
and how old were you?
so I started playing music, I think, at age 8 or 9,
Okay.
when my parents enrolled me with classical guitar lessons. And so I guess that's 30 years now, so that's crazy to think about. And as far as inspiration goes, so many people, like way too many people to mention, like too many different musicians, but also filmmakers and artists, and just relationships to people in general have inspired the music that I do in all sorts of collaborative efforts. So it would be kind of unfair to just say, well, these 3 people have shaped what I do the most, because it's a bit of a big melting pot that's always growing.
Okay. So what are your plans in the future, like with music? What is it that you really, really want to do? Something that you've dreamt of? Something that you want to make a mark with?
I think the older I get, the more I give up on thoughts of some, I don't know, material or gain in terms of like influence with whatever I do, and just try to make my way in the most authentic way that I can. So I guess just getting better at navigating every day as a musician, being more calm, being more open, being more creative with the people I work with, and the experiences that I have. I think that's like the highest goal, because I mean, I am right here in India playing my own music for people, and they actually buy tickets for that. So I think it would be kind of unfair to now say, well, that's pretty cool, but like there's another thing that's even better that I want to do. So I'm quite happy to explore this path right now and just get better at playing music for more people and make a better living out of it, and hopefully have an even better experience doing it.
Okay. Apart from metal, what other genres of music do you enjoy?
I think there's only one genre of music, and that's music.
Okay.
So it can be anything as long as it's good and authentic and interesting.
Any current artists that you're listening to right now that you enjoy listening to?
Well, on the plane here, I listened to the newest album by a Norwegian artist called Major Parkinson, which is amazing. I also like Jacob Collier, for example. And yeah.
Apart from music, what other things interest you? Not music, something completely different. Other hobbies, other things that you like doing.
Not so much hobbies, but psychology is, I think, has become my main subject of dabbling in the last 10 years or so. So everything I can, anything that I can learn more about that subject, I'll happily spend my time doing it.
Any particular figure from psychology that has, that don't say Freud?
No, not Freud, but Jung, very much.
Okay.
So I'm very much in that tradition, if you can say that.
Okay. Okay, that's pretty much it now.
Cool.